Hello, good day, everyone, and welcome at our first webinar of Rematec this year. Today, we will show you the roadmap for the EU and China circular economy. Our moderator today is Rajiv Ramchandra. He's the Director of Sustainability Water Smart Solutions Ltd. And the founder and director of Recreate India. Rajiv will do all the introductions, and I would like to give the word to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. It's nice to see some familiar faces on the call. Before we jump into introductions, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. We encourage active participation and Q&A. So as we're going through the webinar today, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. It's super that we've started promptly on time. Our goal is to go maybe 60 to 75 minutes at max, and so there will be time for Q&A at the end. But if you have questions as we're going through, feel free to kind of pop them into the chat, and we'll try to incorporate them in as we go along here. So it's a real privilege and a pleasure to be invited by Rematec to moderate this webinar. Just quickly, I'd like to introduce everybody that's going to be speaking here today as we go through our agenda. Joining us are Mr. Shi Jianjun, Secretary General, the Remanufacturing Committee of China Association of Automobile Manufacturers. Welcome, Mr. Shi. And also translating for Mr. Shi will be Shannon Lee. So thank you for doing that for us. Also joining us is Mr. Fernand Weiland, founder of the APRA's European Division and co-founder of the biennial Rematec Remanufacturing exhibitions in Amsterdam. Welcome, Fernand.
Welcome.
Also joining us is Jane Zheng. She's the executive director of the China EV Group. Welcome, Jane. And lastly, joining us is Mr. Sean Song, negotiator for China representing TurboTech. So wonderful to have everybody with us. We'd like to kick off today's webinar to hear from Mr. Shi in particular, to talk a little bit about enhancing global cooperation in the vein of circular economy. You know, what's happening in terms of developments on the circular economy front and remanufacturing in China, and in particular, the EU-China Memorandum of Understanding on the circular economy that was signed very recently. So if Mr. Shi is on, and
A little note, Mr. Shi has a little bit of difficulties with connecting.
Okay.
But yeah, he's going to be there any minute.
Okay.
But maybe we can go to Fernand first to give us a little bit of introduction between APRA, Europe, and China.
For sure. Perfect. Go ahead, Fernand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me? Yes. I'm Fernand Weiland, and I'm a former chairman of APRA in Europe. Unfortunately, we don't have Mr. Shi to make the introduction. I'm about this agreement we signed with him, but he's going to refer to that a little bit later. I must say I'm very pleased by this, or extremely pleased by this latest agreement. And this latest agreement is a sort of a final stage of APRA or the history of APRA in China. We started with co-organizing the first remanufacturing symposium, and that was in 2011. We did this with the Chinese National Key Laboratory, and it was in Hangzhou, as I said, in 2011. over the course of the following years, we all co-organized again symposiums in Shanghai and also later in Beijing. We also were present at the Reman Asia and also at the Reman Forum, the Reman 50 Forum at the Asia, at Rematec Asia. So yes, there's a history, and I'm very pleased by this because over these more than 10 years, we have acquired, and I have acquired quite a few friends in China. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the Asia Rematec Asia this year for health reasons. I regret, and I would love to come, but such is life. So thank you for doing all this.
Yeah, super. No, thank you, Ferdinand. Okay, well, should we move on just in the interest of time and hear from Marcelo? I see he's on. Welcome, Marcelo.
Okay.
So just in the interest of time, we can come back once the technical issues are resolved, if that's okay.
Sure, it's okay.
Great, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Marcelo. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us. Apologies, I totally skipped over introducing you. I didn't notice you on my screen when everybody signed in, but good to meet you. Well, thank you for joining us. And yeah, anything, it'd be lovely to hear from you on your perspective on the battery pack remanufacturing space, how that's evolving, the challenges and opportunities in relation to that. So over to you.
Sure. Thanks for the introduction. I'm Marcello Colledani. I'm professor at the Mechanical Engineering Department of Politecnico di Milano. I'm the organizer of the last edition of the World Remanufacturing Summit in March this year in Milan, and I'm in the board of directors of APRA Europe. I would like to give you a 10 minutes overview on what is happening on disassembly and reassembly of battery packs modules in Europe, and especially in our institute, as well as a little bit of perspective of the opportunities emerging in Europe with the digital product passport, in particular digital battery passport, as you know. So, of course, this is not going to be a very detailed presentation. I would like to share my slides if possible, but at least I would like to give some hints on potential cooperation fields between Europe and China within this framework. So I hope you see my slides. Actually,
Yes,
I took part of the slides that I showed exactly at the World Remanufacturing Summit. That has been a very interesting, in my view, and successful event. Also, where we had the chance to host some participants from China and start exploring some connections in the more structured frameworks for collaboration between APRA and China. Well, you know very well the kind of revolution we are in within the automotive industry. And I don't want to give too many details. I mean, data about the market are continuously evolving. So it's very difficult to have stable predictions in this field. But I would like to add two elements here. One element is the total change in terms of structure of the vehicle, in terms of cost of the different components within the vehicle. And as you know very well, the battery pack is the main change in cost structure of the vehicle. But also there are other interesting components within the drivetrain that could be of interest for remanufacturing in the future. And we are in Europe. As you know, Europe is working on a specific regulation on end-of-life vehicle. There is this idea of the digital vehicle passport reported in the first draft of the end-of-life vehicle regulation that was out July last year, still not defined, finalized. But definitely there is the finalized regulation on batteries that claims and puts the basis for the digital battery passport that will be in place starting February 2027. So it's not that far in time. Well, this transformation has affected, of course, our ecosystem in our region. I don't know if you have a clear idea where Milan is located, but we are in a Lombardy region. Lombardy region is a very industrialized region. The first in Europe in terms of number of companies working in manufacturing, and between the top 5 in terms of turnover in manufacturing. And our region has supported the development of networked laboratories in trying to favor the transition to circular economy for several key components in electric vehicles. You see them on the right. Lithium-ion batteries is definitely one, but we also tackling mechatronics and electric motors in vehicles, as well as other circular economy solutions, not remanufacturing related, but more recycling related, for technology plastics, as well as lightweight metal parts in the vehicle. I would like to give you a very brief hint on what we are doing on the battery value chain. So we have structured a laboratory that goes from the back disassembly using more automated solutions to the module characterization and disassembly for liberating the individual cells when the battery comes back from the field. And then, depending on the residual capacity of the battery cells, we decide whether they could be sent to remanufacturing for assembling second life modules, maybe for the automotive applications, if possible, or for stationary applications. And those cells that cannot be sent to reassembly, they go to mechanical pretreatment and then black mass recovery to obtain battery-grade materials. I would say this is what we are doing in Lombardy, but I've seen many other attempts, many other initiatives to go in this direction in other areas, in other institutes, in Germany, in Spain, in France. So this is a kind of consolidated model in Europe for trying to gather value from second life, from post-use batteries. I will give you very few technical hints because that's not the scope of today, but we are working on disassembling with robot, and this you see the application that our partner Stima CNR has done in Brescia, close to Milan, where there is a robotic cell for identifying the model of the battery pack and activate a selection of specific disassembly steps to liberate the modules from the overall pack. I was saying I will give you only pills. So that's the kind of depth I want to reach here. The next step is the testing and characterization of the residual capacity of the battery. We do it in our lab at Polymi with this technology, and this applies EIS for characterizing the residual capacity of the module and the individual cells, to understand what would be the best strategy for recover value from these post-use components. And then, if the module is worth to be treated, then it goes to disassembly. And we have been working quite a lot on different battery models for trying to understand what's the best solution for module disassembly. I have to say, we decided to go for a more flexible solution. It's not completely automated, it's semi-automated. There is a Cartesian portal with a cutting tool for disassembling the bus bar and liberating the individual cells. If you see the example on Volkswagen e-Golf modules that we have been carried out. Of course, several challenges in terms of welding, high variability of the welding in different modules, and overall of the module variability. But with this hybrid semi-automated system, we are able to handle all the different types of batteries. And then I didn't report it here. We also have a cell for reassembling the bus bar through laser welding in order to compose second life batteries by selecting the individual cells according to the target performance of the second life modules. Now, in a nutshell, that's what we are doing. That's where we are trying to go. And it would be definitely very interesting to collaborate with you more to understand what are the initiatives ongoing in China and maybe trying to find synergies between the two initiatives. As we know that China is super important for e-mobility, but also for batteries as well. I would like to give you very final message. Europe is working quite a lot on the digital product passport. We have been involved in this CIRPAS project that just finished March this year, systematizing the IT technology supporting the digital product passport. What it is about basically is the idea of putting a data carrier on the product, on the battery, transferring data between the manufacturing, the collection, and the remanufacturing or recycling by scanning this data carrier, connecting to a data space, and depending on the type of stakeholders, downloading the useful information on the product, trying to connect different stakeholders of the circular value chain. So this is supposed to be a super important tool in the future for more efficient processes and more efficient recycling of materials and recovery of functions. How to be used? Well, we have been exploring this in DG Prime, and again, I would just like to give you a hint of what we have been doing. We have been simulating the existence of the DPP and trying to see whether through the information stored in the digital product passport, the individual processes that I mentioned before could have been made more efficient. And in fact, we were able to produce second life batteries with the help of all the industrial partners of DG Prime, not only Polymi, of course, for different applications in support of renewable energy, for example. So you see here some of the operations that we have been doing, and several APRA partners were also involved. So I finished. I gave you a sort of hint. If you want more information on the positioning of remanufacturing industry in Europe towards the digital product passport, please give a look to this position paper that APRA Europe produced last year. It's downloadable for free on the APRA Europe website, and then you will see what are the potential implications of DPP for Reman industry in view of APRA, but also what are the recommendations for policymakers towards the implementation of the DPP. I hope I stayed on time, and I will thanks again for the opportunity, and of course, we'll be open to questions.
Oh, super. Thank you, Marcelo. This is very interesting. I do have a couple of questions, and I also want to invite Fernand for his impressions as well. But maybe just to get us started, I think the digital product passport, so important. I think you're sort of filling in this particular need and gap from the standpoint of the availability of data across the sort of life cycle, right? I was just curious in terms of the way the data is collected, managed. Is the base of that something like blockchain, or how, what's the thought there from the standpoint of sort of data integrity, fidelity, those kinds of things?
Yeah, the Commission is now defining the details on how this solution shall be implemented, but the idea is that the data, once you scan the data carrier, goes to a connector that brings to the data space where these data are collected and made available to the partners having the rights to access the specific data. So it will be data space related. So I don't know if you are familiar with Catena X ideas that are emerging in European automotive industry, but that's the kind of idea. Clearly, and the last information I give you, the responsible economic operator for producing the DPP for a product is the economic operator that puts the product on the market, European market, for the first time. So every product that enter the DPP and this, the European market and is prone to have a DPP, should be endowed with its own DPP and the related data. So this is also a responsibility for the producer to make sure that the data that are regulated should be available in the DPP once the product is put on the market.
Thank you. No, that's very interesting and very helpful. Fernand, please go ahead.
Right. Can you hear me? Yes. Good morning, Marcello. Good morning, everybody again. Marcello presented a very technical program, all his researches, which he's doing on remanufacturing batteries, and the battery itself is very, very helpful for the industry. Let me just make a few comments because I want to report about how this is seen from the reman industry at this point in time. We should not forget that already for something like 10 years, if not more, remanufacturers are remanufacturing batteries, and mainly batteries out of hybrid vehicles like Toyotas. We have millions of these cars, and these batteries are not lithium, as Marcello spoke about. These batteries are they are nickel, sorry, right, I just forget what they are. They are not lithium batteries, let me put it that way. And we have been remanufacturing these batteries for quite some time. Now, the lithium battery, of course, is a different product, and the OE manufacturers, the car manufacturers, are starting to remanufacture these batteries, the lithium batteries, and this is only at the start, and there are not many batteries available for remanufacturing, but they have all started to remanufacture, and we know the reasons why. From the market, they have to do that, but not only from the market, but also legally. These companies are obliged to recycle batteries to recover all the materials, precious material, which are important for building other batteries. Now, not only the car manufacturers or the OE are doing this, also we have independent remanufacturers who are starting manufacturing, and remanufacturing lithium batteries, and Marcello knows this, is very challenging. Everything is challenging with these batteries. Mostly, for example, it's not just about you replace an old a failed cell, because a battery has many cells. It's also about balancing the cells, the old cells, with the new cells, which you will have to replace on the battery. And that is not an easy task. However, remanufacturers are finding ways to do that. Remanufacturing lithium batteries is a little bit different from the products, the mechanical products, which we are used to, brakes, starters, alternators, or whatever. They are different because in remanufacturing, we bring back an old unit or a failed unit 100% to the equivalent of a new. In lithium batteries, we are extending the life of the batteries, and we are extending the life, and the capacity will be, say, 90%. So that's a little difference, but that's not that's not negative. Important is that you get your battery back and get on. Now, lithium batteries are also not only in the automotive car application we are talking all the time, but also you have other applications like e-bikes or so. And for more than 10 years, these little batteries are also remanufactured. So, and that is not new. Now, in line with the circular economy or sustainability, and Marcello has mentioned that already, are the second life or another application, for example, for solar solar roof, a solar cells roof you need a battery, and you can use old automotive batteries. But that's very challenging also, because let's not forget that legally you have to make sure that these batteries are safe, and that's not so easy. They are safe, so you wouldn't like to have an unsafe batteries in your house. Now, lots of challenges, but not only the battery, last point is, I'm not sure I mentioned that already, you have in an electrical vehicle lots of other components like the electrical motors, which are also very important. And yes, I am confident that the remanufacturer will manage this, because in remanufacturing, nothing is impossible until it's done. That's all I wanted to say, Rajiv.
Thank you. Thanks, Fernand. I just want to, Marcelo, anything you want to react to based on what Fernand just shared?
Oh, well, I totally agree with Fernand. And we are just at the beginning. The volumes still have to grow. And opportunities still have to be set down, and even the value chain has to be created for attracting the post-use batteries in a stable way. But the conditions are there for a profitable business in this field, and definitely not only for batteries, but for other components of the electric vehicles as well.
Perfect. You actually answered the question that I was leading up to, was, what does the outlook look like? And I think if we have time and if you can stay, we can unpack that a little bit more. But for now, Marcelo, thank you again. Very helpful to understand, and do stay on. We expect to have some questions coming in if you can, and we can always regroup.
Right. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I will have to go and launch my meeting. I'm in Paris right now for a project meeting of the battery project. So, but thanks for inviting me, and definitely Kim will direct to me potential questions. Sorry for that, but I really need to jump to the meeting.
No worries. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you coming on.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Okay, great. No, so just very quickly, I just want to welcome Mr. Shi, and for joining us, for taking the time to join us. And it would be wonderful to hear from him a little bit about what the circular economy and remanufacturing developments are that are emerging in China, and then also specifically the EU-China Memorandum of Understanding on the circular economy that was recently signed. So it'd be wonderful to hear that.
水宁啊，下面就是请您介绍一下关于州这个循环经济，然后一些以及这些相关的一些发展情况在中国。
那个去年中国政府和欧盟签署了这个循环经济的合作框架，得到这个合作框架签署呢，得到了双方最高这个领导人的这个关注。循环经济合作框架的主要内容包括3个方面内容，一个是塑料的回收，一个是动力电池的回收和再利用，第3一个就是那个再制造领域，就是再制造首次被这个中欧双方确定为在循环经济领域合作的一个重点的方向。这个框架签署之后，今年双边将启动相关的工作计划。你先翻吧，徐宁。
Yeah, for the cooperation between China and the European on cooperation of the circular economy, we have signed a memorandum last year, Chinese and European government, and mainly on 3 aspects that we're going to cooperate. First is the plastic recycling, and the second one is the battery recycling, and the third part is mainly focused on remanufacturing on vehicles, and
那个
it will be a new start for our next cooperation in the coming years.
今年双方就是中欧双方将共同组建一个这个再制造产业合作的一个工作组。
In 2023, 24, China and European will just cooperate and team up on the remanufacturing aspect.
这个工作组呢，将在以下几个方面开展这个合作的中欧再制造合作的这个内容。
And following aspect on the cooperation of European and Chinese remanufacturers.
首先是开展再制造的这个宣传活动，扩大再制造产品在市场中的这个接受度。
First is to promote remanufacturing business and also expand the productions of the remanufactured products.
第二一个呢，就是加强再制造的技术标准的合作，共同推动中欧再制造的技术标准的互认。
And the second one is for the certification and standards of Chinese and European remanufactured products. We're gonna cooperate on fixing the new standards that also applied for Chinese and European market.
第三一个呢，就是中欧双方将共同开发再制造产品的碳足迹的研究，这个推动再制造产品这个进入碳减排市场。
And the third one is China and EU is going to focus on the carbon footprint and the related products to reach the carbon neutral and the peak carbon dioxide emission.
第四一个呢，就是我们这个中欧双方会推动在新能源汽车再制造领域的这个技术交流和产业合作。
The fourth is China and European going to jointly promote the new energy vehicles remanufacturing business.
第五一个就是中欧双方将加强中欧在再制造行业的专业人才的培养。
And the fifth is the trainee project between China and European remanufacturers.
同时呢，第六一点就是，中欧将共同把在广州举办的 Rematec Asia 再制造国际展览会，确定为双方合作的一个重要的平台，并且在展览会期间将设立中欧汽车再制造产业发展论坛。
And number 6 is China and EU are going to promote Rematec Asia as the main platform for promoting the business of remanufacturers between the two regions. And also there will be a China and EU forum on remanufacturing during the show.
这是在中欧政府层面，在政策这个再制造政策这些方面，通过这个签署合作的协议，达成的一个合作的这个方向。
These are some specific cooperations between China and EU government on cooperating in remanufacturing industry.
就是另外一个呢，就是我们 CPRA 和 APRA， 3月份我们在米兰共同签署了这个合作的这个战略协议。
And this year, in March in Milano, CPRA and APRA has signed a memorandum MOU of cooperation in the relevant field.
我认为这个协议最重要的一个作用，就是向欧洲的这个再制造行业和中国的再制造行业表示，中国的再制造市场是一个开放的市场，
And all we do is just trying to introduce the European remanufacturers, and China has an open market for the business of remanufacturing.
中国的再制造企业愿意与全球的再制造企业开展合作。
And the Chinese enterprise is willing to cooperate with the global players of remanufacturing.
那我和 APRA 也将共同推动，通过签署这个协议，也表示我们将共同推动中欧汽车再制造领域的这个全面的合作。
And CPRA and APRA, after signing the strategic cooperation agreement, will jointly promote this comprehensive cooperation in field of automotive remanufacture between China and Europe.
也可以跟大家分享，我昨天还在米兰，然后我们最近和欧洲的再制造企业联系非常的多，也通过这种联系，我们也感到欧洲的再制造企业对于和中国的合作表现出了非常浓厚的兴趣。
And I also like to share that yesterday I was in Milan, and we have met many European remanufacturing enterprises, and we have built a very close connection. And also many European remanufacturers shows big enthusiasm in Chinese market, and they're to cooperate in the future.
我也希望我们 CPRA 和 APRA 以这次签署协议为契机，我们共同来实现我们的会员企业的一些愿望和他们的这个想法。
And I also hope CPRA and APRA, after signing our cooperation, we can jointly help our members to reach their goals on the future business of remanufacturing.
我想这种合作未来也是我们双赢甚至多赢的一种合作的这个成果。
And I believe by our cooperation, we'll reach a win-win situation in the future.
同时呢，我今天在苏格兰的格拉斯哥，在参加中英再制造产业合作的一个论坛。
And right now I'm in Scotland, Glasgow, and I'm attending a China and UK remanufacturing forum right now.
这个会议是中国政府和英国政府共同举办的。
And the meeting is also held by the Chinese and the British government.
我在会议上也看到了很多我们欧洲再制造的老朋友。
And I also saw many familiar faces of our European friends in the remanufacturing industry.
所以我也通过和他们的交流，也了解了他们进入和与中国合作的这种期待。
And through our communication, I also noticed that they were willing to promote their business with their Chinese partners and more closely in the future.
我现在就在会场，我可以让大家看一下会场的情况。
And I would like to show you around of the meeting that I'm attending right now in England, in Scotland.
是不是
That's wonderful.
应该是非常有趣的事情？
It's a very interesting little forum.
这就是我想和大家分享的一些信息。如果大家因为我们的会议时间很短，如果大家有什么要求，也可以私下和我们通过 email 或者是通过其他的形式和我们联系。
And yes, and this is a short meeting we're having, so you're welcome to contact me if you have any further requests or inquiries through email, and I'll be really happy to hear from you.
Great.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to hear of all the great developments occurring between EU and China. And yes, we look forward to learning more, and we'll reach out for any additional information for sure.
非常感谢谢秘书长的介绍。然后呢，我们也希望在未来能看到更多的相关的合作。
Okay.
那个雪妮啊，你也在代表我，欢迎，我们欧洲的再制造企业能够在8月到中国，去，参加我们的 Rematec Asia 的这个聚会。我们也希望在通过这个活动，能够让欧洲的同行更多的了解我们中国的再制造。
From European countries join Rematec Asia in 28th and 30th of August, so you can have more opportunities to know the Chinese market. You're welcome. Thank you.
Great. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Super. Great. Thank you, Jane, for turning your camera on. Just in the interest of timing, it would be great to actually, dive right in. Mr. Shi's sort of painted this picture, which has been super helpful from the standpoint of the cooperation that's underway between EU and China. And it would be great to hear from you and your vantage point on what specific developments are occurring, what's happening in the marketplace in that vein. So go ahead, Jane, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Dear all, today I'm pleased to share insights on the global renewable energy industry and the latest trend in green transportation, with a focus on the cooperation between China and Europe in the EV sector. First, let's examine some significant data. According to the International Energy Agency, by the end of 2021, renewable energy accounted for 29% of total global energy consumption, up from just 16% in 2010. This marks a shift towards renewable energy worldwide. This trend demonstrates that electric vehicles are emerging as the leading alternative to gasoline and diesel cars for the next decade and beyond. While cleaner energy sources such as hydrogen and methanol hold promise, they still request further technological and economic development. The International Energy Agency forecast that global EV sales will reach 20 million units by 2030, a significant increase from 3.1 million units in 2020. This underscores the immense growth potential of the EV market. However, the widespread adoptions of electric vehicles will request ongoing technological advance, as well as comprehensive industry support. Data from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers shows that by the end of 2021, cumulative EV sales in China had surpassed 7.8 million units, with pure electric vehicles constituting over 80% of this total. While this is the commendable achievement, there remains ample rooms for further progress. As two major global economies, China and European units must strengthen cooperations to enhance renewable energy utilization, energy conservation, and emission reduction efforts. Joint research on advanced technologies and collaborative push towards energy transactions will significantly contribute to global sustainable development. Our company, China EV Group, is at the forefront in promoting China-European cooperation on EV cars, specializing in EV product development, international certifications, technical service, and marketing in the field of electric vehicle. Recently, we have drawn considerably focus on broadening the cooperation between China and the EU in the EV sector. Currently, China EV Group has facilitated several Chinese automakers and models in meeting EU certificate standards by updating technology and product specifications. One such example is in the recent rollout of the Artfox EV brand in EU, with the brand itself being a JV between BAIC and Magna. China EV Group plays a very important role in the expansion and promotion of the Artfox brand across the EU. Recently, we established a sales and marketing center in Germany, as well as signing warehousing and transportation agreement with companies in Spanish ports. Furthermore, we are also planning investment in charging station project. We are in discussions with companies in Italy, Spain, and the other countries regarding local production to meet EU regulation requirements for Chinese-produced electric vehicles. We firmly believe that by leveraging the EU advanced technologies, strong brands, and established industry chains, we can cooperatively address global climate change, promote energy conservation, and reduce emissions, ensuring a better environment for future generations. Through China-Europe cooperation, we can achieve mutual benefits and drive the sustainable and healthy development of the electric vehicle industry. Thank you all.
That's great. Thank you, Jane. That's exciting to hear, and really appreciate you taking the time to share your perspectives. Do stick around, and if there are any questions that come in, feel free to our audience, feel free to drop those questions into the chat, and we can get to as many as we can. Again, just to be mindful of time, I'm going to switch us over and invite Sean and the video that was planned to be shown. So Kim, I'll go over to you and let me know. Thanks for joining us, Sean. So let me know, Sean, if you want to frame it up a little bit, and then we jump into the video, or if we just play the video. So I'll leave that to you.
Okay, just play the video. If anyone will have any questions, I can answer after the video. Okay.
Super.
Mm-hmm. Hello everyone, this is Sean Song from China. I'm also one of the members of Rematec. This is our CEO, Yalek Rulash.
Hello everybody.
Okay, so it's our pleasure to get an invitation from Mr. Simon Ding of Rematec Association, and to give this speech to introduce our project in China. And before that, I think I have to tell you some short stories about before our cooperation. Before that, before 2019, because our cooperation started since 2019. Before that, actually, Polish government had been trying to find the opportunity to introduce local government to enter Chinese market. That's the reason why we knew each other. Also, we have to thank for Mr. Xie Jianjun from China Auto Remanufacturing Association. Because of him, we knew each other from the exhibition in Amsterdam 2019. So Turbotech got invitation from Mr. Xie, and we went to China in 2019 summertime, and we visited our current cooperator's factory, Hebei Changli Auto Parts Limited Company, and we knew Mr. Ho, and we saw his factory's skills. His large factory in China. It's one of the biggest manufacturing starter and generators manufacturing factory in China. And after that, Mr. Ho also got invitation to come to Poland to see Turbotech's workshop. And we had a lot of meetings to discuss the details of cooperation, and we had the preliminary intentions, and we were ready for the cooperation actually in end of 2019. But unfortunately, the COVID came in the beginning of 2020. So because of the restrictions, and we stopped the process of cooperation, but we didn't stop the working.
Yeah,
we work online.
We
work online, and we bought the machines from Schenk. We started training several trainings online, yes. And also Yalek, the whole TT group sent a lot of the layouts of the workshop to Chinese side, and yeah, just working online because we didn't have any choices to visit each other. But until 2022 August, we sent 4 specialists from Poland to China. And start the basic training and assembling the machines and testing all the process of workshop. Yeah, then things changed. After that, until now, so all the things in our turbo company is our joint venture company, and it's also the first joint venture companies on turbochargers manufacturing in China, between European company and Chinese company. So so far so good. And I mean, in the end, I have to thank a lot of the people who helped us for our project, and also we have to thank the local government in Hejian to give us a lot of support to make it happen. And next, I think I would like to invite Mr. Yalek to introduce technology side on during our cooperation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. First, I would like to introduce our company, Turbotech. A few words about us. We are a young company with big experience.
Yeah.
So 20 years ago, we start first Reman turbochargers. Now, after these 20 years, our company it's little biggest, but one of the independent company of the Europe. Now our employer more than 150 located in here in Poland, but we have 8 branches in Europe, in Central Europe and in the West. And as I said, we are one of the largest independent company in Europe in this business, the manufacturing business.
But not only this product.
Not only this product. We're talking about the turbochargers, yes. But in our range production is 8 products. product, steering racks, injection system, automatic transmission parts, compressor, and this. But turbo, we are the specialist. Turbochargers are our biggest range of the product. So we are specialized in this product. As you said, we start cooperation with Chinese partners 6 years, almost 6 years ago. After signing the cooperation between us, we start first step. We prepare some technological layout. But the COVID was a hard time, and we start work online. We spent many hours together with specialists, especially from the Changli automotive company. This experience of these people is very good. This company, Reman, starters.
So they are professional on these products.
Yeah, so we work together with these people, and I remember this was a very hard time, but this time when we work together, I remember very good. It's a good partner for us, many experience, and we finished this project layout. We sent to Chinese people, Chinese side, and our feedback was very good. So we start to prepare machine, because in this joint venture, Turbotech is responsible for the quality, machining, and employing, and training for the employees. So first we prepare technological process, and we prepare the machine and send to Chinese. After this, we prepare the people, and our people spend 3 or more months in China, and we training the employer. So it was 3 months, many hours spent to Chinese people. Of course, first step is the machine. We start to prepare process and training these people, and step by step start to Reman first turbochargers. So today, after this,
after a hard time,
of course, but now we know that the company working.
A lot more customers.
More customers, more turbo models, and of course our specialist existing one people stay in China, and prepare some instruction, prepare some documentation, because quality is the best. Quality must be the best.
Most important for Turbotech.
Yeah. So we learn the people, we learn the process, we start to Reman next model of the turbochargers, and so I think in the future will be only better.
Yeah, must be better in my opinion.
That's right. We think about the next models, we think about some next machine, so which is necessary, because as you know, automotive is growing, so the new models must to know new technology, new machine, and so we know that this company will be grow together with.
Because China has a much bigger market than Poland, even
much
bigger than Europe.
It's much bigger than Europe, so as you saw, it's the first company.
Joint venture
between European and Chinese side, but the market is growing, so I think our company will be growing day by day together.
Yeah, this is kind of our stories of our cooperation in China, and we would like to share our experience if you want to hear more in the future.
Yep.
So I think that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. No, wonderful to see positive relationships and business opportunities being developed there. So we're at the top of the hour. I just want to invite Sean in case you had anything more to add, any reflections based on what you heard by some of the previous speakers.
Okay, so I mean, if anyone, first of all, it's like my pleasure to be invited to attending this meeting, and to be the negotiators of Rematec in the last few years, and I was in charge the main job of conducting with Chinese side to establish this cooperation in China. And as you heard from this video, we're the Turbo company, which is established in China, is almost the first joint venture company in the turbochargers remanufacturing joint venture company. And yeah, I mean, we have been through a lot since last 5 years, especially during the COVID period. So actually, it's I mean, the video cannot like introduce everything. There are a lot of the difficulties and various communications between each other. Actually, it wasn't easy to establish this, and I would like to share more experience and stories if anyone has questions. But I have a current problem is because my laptop is going to die, and my keyboard charger is broken. I cannot charge it. So
No,
if
that's
anyone
that's
can
yeah.
have any questions, just like I will give short answers in like
Yes,
few minutes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. And I think I'll turn it over to Kim at the Rematec team. I think all the contact information for everybody will probably be available on the website. So over to you, Kim, and you have some exciting events lined up as we go into the summer here.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, what I wanted to say is thank you all. Thank you for our panelists, of course, first of all, in joining in our first webinar of this year. And thank you, Rajiv, again, for moderating our webinar. Really well appreciated. Thank you for all the participants who were joining us. And the webinar is recorded, so within a few days it will be also visible on our website. If you still have any questions or anything like that, please ask them and we will share it amongst our panelists. And yeah, last of all, thank you for watching, and please save the dates for our upcoming 2 events. The first one, of course, Rematec Asia in August this year, and Rematec Amsterdam in April next year. Yeah, so thank you and have a good day, everyone.